Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. I hate it when someone abandons something and then thinks they can just come back and take it years later when it's more convenient for them to have it. In our first story, that person is Karen. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Karen wants her stolen table set back. When I was 9 in 2001, my folks and I moved into a rental house. The previous tenant left behind two things: a beautifully carved stone table and chair set, and a very shy ginger cat. We adopted the cat. The table and chair sat in the front yard, easily seen by anyone walking past. Coming home from school, I find my mom talking with police in a massive dead patch of grass where the table used to stand. Somehow, someone had stolen the table set. It wasn't light, a truck would have been needed to cart it away. We never got it back. A year later, Karen knocks on the door. The conversation may be paraphrased slightly as it happened so long ago. Mom: "Hi, can I help you?" Karen: "Yeah, hi. I used to live here and wanted to organize a time to retrieve my stone table set." Mom: "The table set that was sitting in the front yard?" Karen: "That's the one. I was thinking..." Mom: Hold on. That set was stolen about a year ago. And even if it wasn't, you left it here without any contact for over 2 years. Landlord tried to contact you, but you essentially abandoned the property. Karen: "Well, I didn't have room for it at my new place. Now I do. I have the receipt, so it's still mine." Mom: "It was stolen. And I noticed you haven't asked about the cat you left here either." Karen: "You think you can push that thing on me when you don't have my table set?" Mom: "God, no. I wouldn't let you anywhere near him with your attitude. He's registered to us now anyway. You have no more business here. Leave." And she slammed the door in the Karen's face. I've never seen my mom so angry. She hugged our cat for 10 minutes straight. Karen wasn't finished, though. She called the cops because, of course she did. Cops arrived. Mom went out to meet them. She didn't want me to hear what went on, but she summarized later. Basically, Karen claimed Mom was hiding her table set and preventing her from getting her property back. Mom explained what happened, provided the landlord's phone number, and suggested they look in their records because the table was officially stolen. Police left. Karen didn't get her table. We kept the cat. And our second story. Don't want my help? Okay. This happened a few days ago. It was snowing heavily a few days, so there was a lot of snow. I was going to attend an airsoft match nearby. The play area was deep in a forest and the roads weren't plowed at all. There was one parking lot, if you can call it that, basically a mud field in the middle of the forest where people usually leave their car. Now, nobody showed up to the game due to the poor weather, so I decided to park my car, fire off a few clips of ammo, and leave. I should also mention that there was a firing range for real guns right next to the airsoft place. I drove up to the edge of the lot, but before I stopped, I realized I'd probably get stuck since the snow's quite heavy near the edges. I decided that since I was only going to be there for 5 to 10 minutes, I'd just leave my car at the entrance since there was no traffic or anything, and I'd be right next to my car so I could move it if anyone came by. Cue old a-hole, who drives a massive pickup truck and is going to the shooting range next door. We'll call him OA for short. I was firing off my gun next to my car when I heard an engine sound in the distance coming towards the lot. I quickly put the gun down in my car and packed my things so I could move out of the way of whoever was coming. As he turned the corner, he saw me and slowed down a little since I was kind of blocking the way. I waved my hand and smiled as to say, "Sorry, just a moment," and climbed into the driver's seat and started up my car. While I was busy finding the keyhole, OA figured he's much too busy to wait for the 2 seconds it takes for my car to start up and decided to try and go past me at full speed, right into the thick snow. He probably thought his massive truck could save him, but no. He slowed to a crawl and eventually stopped, his gas pedal still depressed, digging him into an even bigger hole. In my mind, I thought, what an idiot, but decided to step out of my car and knock on his door. I asked him if he wanted me to push him out of the snow, to which he answered, "You're not going to move this thing anywhere. It weighs 3 tons," in the most unfriendly voice imaginable. He shouted at me, asking why I was parked in the middle of the parking lot entrance. I told him that I tried to park near the edge, but the snow was too thick there, so I couldn't, and that I was only going to be there for 5 minutes. He's having none of it. Yells at me to move my car out of the way. Well, okay. I packed up my remaining things and moved my car out of the way, all the way to my home about 5 kilometers away, actually. He was stuck in the snow with no hope of getting out. Now, if this guy wasn't such a jerk, I would have gladly helped him out of it, even if it wasn't my fault. I could have easily pushed his car out of it, and also had a spade in my trunk with which we could have dug the snow around his tires so he could get traction again. If he wasn't in such a rush that he had to take a shortcut while I was just about to move, he wouldn't have got stuck in the first place. Have fun in the snow, bitter old man. And our last story. Entitled kid tries to steal my antique truck, goes to jail. I have recently come into the possession of a 1947 International pickup truck. A monster of a 4-wheel drive that looks fantastic now that I've cleaned it up and changed the fluids, even has the original Black Diamond inline 6-cylinder engine. Not bad for a barn find. Gorgeous old truck and very desirable, as I've come to find out. Now that it's all legal, I've begun driving it regularly and often find myself getting waved and honked at and even asked to pull over a couple times so someone could have a look at it. I'm constantly getting offers for it as well. It's not for sale, never will be. It's my most treasured possession already, and I plan on showing it off at different truck rallies and get-togethers. This incident took place at a local gas station/convenience store. It had started off pretty much a normal day. I've gotten used to the honks and staring already, nothing unusual when you own an unusual vehicle to me. I pulled into a local 7-Eleven to get gas and a snack. Hadn't had breakfast yet that day and went in, got myself a breakfast burrito and paid for gas, and when I stepped out and made my way back to my truck, I found some teenager sitting behind the wheel of my truck, looking as if he was trying to drive it. I yelled before I got to my truck for the kid to get out. It's not his truck. When I got to it, he still hadn't moved and said, "This truck is so cool. Want to sell it?" "It's not for sale, kid. Now get out before I yank you out of it." "But everything's for sale, and I want it." "You're not getting it, and it isn't for sale." And opened the door, at which the kid suddenly bolted and ran off. Kids these days, I muttered to myself, thinking the matter was over. Boy, was I wrong. I just filled the tank and went back and got my change, taking time to lock the doors this time before going back in and coming back out. When I got back to my truck, there stood the kid with an adult next to him. He said, "My son wants this truck. Hand it over now." Not gonna happen. And if you don't back off from the truck you're not getting, I'm calling the sheriff and making you back off. "You're giving us that truck or we're taking it." I simply pulled out my cell phone and started dialing the non-emergency number, at which point the man went white and said, "Hey now, I was just kidding. You want to sell it?" I told him already, pointing at the kid, it's not for sale and won't be. Now I suggest you be gone before the sheriff arrives. They were suddenly gone. But that isn't the end of the matter yet. The sheriff arrived, I described the incident to him, and they checked the security cameras outside of the store, but there wasn't much they could do without having seen the incident or having witnesses willing to talk to them. So I went about my day, doing some shopping at the local Wally World and stopping at a local specialty parts shop to order some parts for the truck that specializes in classic and antique vehicles, and headed home. I got home, and for a few hours everything was fine. I had, however, parked my truck in a secured garage on my property, as I usually do, to keep the truck out of the weather, and considering what happened earlier, good thing too, because as I found out, these two were not done trying to get my truck. Late that evening, just as I hit the bed, I heard some unusual noises around the garage, looked out and saw 2 figures prowling about the garage, first trying a security window, then trying to pull the garage doors open. So I snuck out my back door with shotgun in hand, rounds loaded with rock salt and pork rinds. Very painful, but not deadly unless near point-blank range. I load my own shotgun and rifle rounds. Briefly, rock salt when forced into the skin produces an intense burning sensation, and pork rinds glue themselves to human flesh as if superglued to it and must be forcibly peeled away without the appropriate solvents. Extremely painful either way. Next thing these two heard was a ka-chunk of a shotgun's round being loaded into a shotgun chamber and froze. Then a quiet but firm voice. "On the ground now, both of you." Shortly, both were on their faces, hands behind the back of their head, and they lay there until the sheriff arrived. Sheriff arrived, I lay my shotgun aside as they demanded, and accepted being cuffed for the time being. They yanked the two off the ground, none too gently, and pulled them over to the cruiser they arrived in. They questioned me and took the cuffs off after taking possession of the shotgun temporarily, and questioned them separately. I told my side of it, making special note that I believe they were after my antique truck, and told them of the earlier incidences that day. They had the unmitigated gall to claim I had stole their old truck and had it stashed in the garage, and they were just trying to get it back. When I produced the title and registration of the truck and even let them into the garage so they could run the plates, all came back as registered to me and me alone. I had the fun of giving these two a brilliant smile and a wave goodbye as they were driven off and taken to jail. I got my shotgun back after proving it was mine and having to reclaim it from the department, but no big deal. They're still in jail at this point, charged with trespass, attempted theft, attempted auto theft, and several other charges. I was there for their initial appearance, and when the judge asked if there was any objection to them being OR'd, I of course objected. Yes, I was being vindictive. I stated they wanted my truck so badly they snuck onto my property at night to try and steal it. I fear if they're released, they'll try again. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.